kind of...
I should do the echoing thing and make sure we actually have audio. Hold on. Alright, talk.
Talkity talk. And words and stuff. And things.
Perfect, we have audio.
We have audio, people. Wait, we have audio, people?
No, we don't.
Okay. So,
we are the audio people.
Yeah, now it says scheduled, so I guess it says upcoming. Unless, yeah, that should be it. It says started at 10:18.
Perfect.
So, notify me, I guess. Guess I should set it up to give me notifications. Our YouTube channel's got 61 subscribers now. That's amazing. Thank you to...
Whenever.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to A Snugpod Cast. We are A Snugpod Cast. We podcast in a snug pod, so there you go. I'm never separate. With me, I only have one co-host this week, but that's okay. I've got Gwen the Bard. What's up?
Hello.
And while we may be one person short, that doesn't mean this episode's going to be short. Because there's other reasons that it's going to be short. Ha ha ha. Anyway.
Like the lack of news.
Yeah.
And a lot of the things we wanted to share tonight were going to be a 3-person deal.
Yeah, sometimes we hold stuff back because we want everybody to be part of it. We don't want to, have one person missing out on too much of the fun. So, but that's okay. That just gives us more stuff to talk about next time. So when we're all here, the episodes can be longer. Yeah. So completely unrelated to anything Tamriel, I was told to tell you hi, Gwen.
Aw, hi.
So, anyway, yeah, what have you been up to in game? Anything fun? Anything new?
So, new is me hanging out on PSEU.
Okay.
My character's gone up from level 17 to I think level 21 now. But I just thought to pop over there because of all the housing items going on. I'm like, oh, I should probably claim the dailies this month on EU too. That way, if I ever want to do a housing, at least I have these cool, fancy free housing items, right?
Oh, that's true.
And exactly, right? Might as well get the thing, have the thing. You never know. And so while I'm over there, there was a new friend that I met when I was over in Amsterdam, and we friended each other on PlayStation, but they only play on EU. So I was like, you know what, I'm curious what their house looks like, because I'd never seen anyone have a house over on the PSE side. And I teleported there. And it was not what I expected at all. Like, I don't know what I expected. I didn't have any expectations, okay? I didn't have any expectations. But I get into one of the Imperial houses, the one Imperial house in Craiglorn, I believe, and the one with the courtyard and the house, and I don't know what I'm expecting once I'm teleporting to this house, but it was not just everything absolutely covered in a pile of rubble and there being no entrance to the actual house in sight. And you have to scale the cliffs of like Skyrim, and I'm like, you know what? I gotta know what's going on in this house. So clearly they have been on recently because it is all labeled everything properly for the like housing tours. So I'm trying to like cliff hop like in Skyrim, and I'm climbing up, and I get to the first like planks of wood, and I crawl up the planks of wood, and I crawl up the next planks of wood, and I didn't read the housing tour like little spiel there. I just noticed the text in the side of the screen, right? And knocking around, I'm like, oh, cool, they made a nice little watchtower, and you can see all the things in the distance. And then I look down into the watchtower, and there's a skeleton. There's like just a dead skeleton, and it looks like a dead camper with their campsite. And I'm like, oh, well, that's a little morbid, but okay, whatever. And we go down the stairs. And I'm looking around at this campsite and everything, and it's like, oh, this is actually cool. It's like kind of one of the I fall into a pit of dead skeletons, and then now I'm just like, I didn't have any more time to look around, but it's like, oh, I want to go back there and see if there's a way to actually get into someplace else, because that was booby trapped to death, literal death. But it was definitely fun. It was a fun experience. These housing tours are fun. Otherwise, I finally got that Mora's Whispers lead from, I think it's the, which one is it? The Imperial Cid in prison, right? With the Watcher?
I'm not sure. I think.
But
Can't you
I
get
think
it
it's,
from a Watcher from there or from the public dungeon, the immolation or whatever? I
no,
got
that's a
one
different
from.
one. That's a different
Okay.
one. You have to kill a lot of different Watchers in order to get the Mora's Whispers.
Okay.
But I finally got the one from Imperial City Prison, so now I just need to get a few more. But yeah, that's what I've been up to. What about you?
Mostly I have just been farming Fungal Grotto to get tickets, and I did go to Fargrave. There's a furnishing plan that I've tried to look for a little bit at some of the guild traders and have not had any luck finding it yet. It's the Fargrave balcony, I think is what it's called. Um, I just think it looks cool. It actually somewhat kind of fits the look of the island already. Um, it goes pretty well with the Fargrave Bridge that I have there now. Um, but anyway, supposedly you can get it from doing the dailies from the reward boxes. So I've done a couple of dailies. Tried to do one yesterday, and it sent me to a world boss. And there was nobody there, and I couldn't do it alone. Um, and so I just kind of gave up on it. Um,
We will help you kill the world boss after this.
okay.
We will kill the world boss.
I marked where it was. I mean, it's marked from having the quest anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I have done a few little things like that, just trying to get that furnishing plan. I've gone to a few traders looking to see if I could find it on a couple different days and have had no luck. I imagine it's probably fairly expensive to get the plan, but we'll see. But that's been probably about it. I ran Fungal. Did the three of us run it the other night? We did, right? Was it last week?
Yes, last Sunday. Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm not counting that as something for this week, but yeah.
Yeah, my days just all blur together. My schedule's been messed up at work, so it throws my
Yeah,
days off.
yeah. Don't ask me what I did on Wednesday. I don't remember. But I feel you.
I barely remember yesterday, but anyway, yeah, it's got my days all mixed up, so I can't remember what day I did what. But yeah, so since then, I guess I've ran it probably 2 or 3 more times. I think I missed a day, but I've already picked up the. Let's see, it's a mount we get this time, right, from the morphable thing.
Yes.
So I got the first piece of that, and I've got my tickets back up to like 10 tickets, I think. So, yeah, that's been pretty much it. I need to farm that Mora's Whisper stuff as well. I want to add that to because that's the one that gives you extra XP from killing monsters, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I want to add that
Based
to
on
my
how many
leveling
books
build.
you have.
Right. Do you happen to know how that works? Like what's the cap to get to the max amount, or?
I don't remember. It's been so long since I've been farming this thing that I forgot.
I mean, surely you don't have to have every one of the books to get the max effect from it, because it's not. I mean, it's like what 10 or 15%, something like that.
It was 15, I believe, but who
Yeah,
knows after all the updates.
I
Once I
think
have them all, then I'll remember.
I think it's 15%. I think you're right. So I mean, there's how many books to collect? Like nearly 100 or
A
more.
lot.
So, hi Moki.
You do. You do have to have all the books. Thank you, Moki.
Okay. So, yeah. I don't know how many of them I even have. Probably not all of them. That's the lore books you find around the zones, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's no way I have all of those. Um, I have a lot, at least from earlier base game zones. But, um, yeah. But anyway, that maybe the leveling build thing will be something that I address later. But we'll see. Um, yeah. All right. Well, I guess if that's all we've been up to, then we've got so much news, right? um, maybe the biggest. Well, no, they're probably equally important. So we got update 44 is now up on the public test server.
Yes. It says recruit new companions and battle your fellow players in the reworked battlegrounds with update 44 now available on the public test server. The public test server, PTS, has been updated to include the update 44 base game patch, giving you access to updated and reworked battlegrounds, 2 new companions, a new scribe and grimoire, and more. To access the PTS, go to the settings menu from the PC/Mac ESO launcher by toggling the Show Public Test Environment option. You can then download just the game client. Don't forget to leave feedback and report any bugs you come by typing /feedback or /bug in chat. If you want to learn about the features coming to Update 44 or anything else to do with the patch, be sure to check out Preview Blog and PTS patch notes on ESO forums. Now, as the console players, we do not get to use PTS. This is a PlayStation thing. They get to do all the testing for us. So hopefully nothing ever crashes like Markarth ever again. Please and thank you. But if you do look at the preview blog or the PTS patch notes, those are more in-depth things that we do have the option to see if you're okay with spoilers, if you want spoilers.
Have you actually pulled up the patch notes and looked at them at all?
I haven't pulled up the patch notes in a while. I think the last time I hardcore in-depth read the patch notes was back when they reworked Unfathomable Darkness. So it's been a minute.
I was just kind of there's changes being made to Soul Shriven, it says, and Cold. I was just kind of trying to skim over some of it, but I haven't looked at them in depth either. I have seen that there are some. Obviously, there's always balance changes, but it looks like just from headlines I've seen from, I think Hack had a video up. Sorcerers are maybe taking a hit. So it'd be interesting to see what they end up doing, because it's still PTS, so a lot of those numbers get changed throughout the test cycle. So it's not necessarily what's going to make it into live when the update comes out, but yeah.
If you're nosy and you can't wait, there's always options to read, pretty much.
Yeah, but there's quite a bit in the patch notes. We won't read all of that tonight, but because trying to do a patch note episodes can get really long. We did that like once or twice, and
we did it once.
Yeah, it was like over 2 hours.
If
I think.
you want to try that again, never. More power to you. I only read the patch notes for like the silly flavor text or like extra snide comments that are added in, because those are great. But yeah.
I usually look over maybe what changes are coming to Templar, because that's really the only class I play enough to care. I wouldn't be familiar enough with other classes to be able to tell the difference in how they feel. So I don't really worry too much about those. I'll look at weapon changes, guild skill line changes, Templar changes, things like that. But what we're also getting new content for scribing and reward systems and golden pursuits and all that. We talked about that last week. So you can go back and listen to that, or you can just read the article, which will be linked in show notes when the episode releases. Podcast forums, so you can stay tuned and check that out too. Um, do you have anything else on Update 44 stuff you want to touch on?
I don't. I haven't read anything about it, so I don't have anything to say on it.
All right. Well, there's one more article that we've got. It's the Fallen Leaves of Westfield event, um, which will be going on starting Thursday, September 26th. So that's this coming Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
When does the Undaunted Festival end? Tuesday?
I think Tuesday. Normally things end on Tuesdays.
I think so. Um, yeah, this one ends on Tuesday, October 8th. So, um, you want to read this? You want me to read this one?
I'll read it.
Okay.
Seek alien relics to unlock rewards during the Fallen Leaves of the Westfield event. Delve into the history of the Heartland Elves and unlock special rewards for all Gold Road players during a new event. Fallen Leaves of Westfield in-game event kicks off on Thursday, September 26th at 10 a.m. EDT and continues until Tuesday, October 8th. During the event, you can seek out lost relics of the ancient Alien Empire, learn about the history surrounding Cyrodiil's ancient rulers, and unlock collectible rewards for all Gold Road chapter owners. Seek lost knowledge together. Throughout the event period, you can acquire the new daily quest, Fallen Leaves of Westfield, available from Gandrinar, located outside the Skingrad and Persiaro's tent. To complete this new daily, collect lost alien relics, bundle them, and bring them back to Gandrinar. Doing so will grant event quests, rewards, and on occasion some additional lore about the region's ancient rulers. In addition to progressing the Fallen Leaves of Westfield meter found on the event official page. As the community completes the new daily quest, they will help progress the new event meter, unlocking 3 tiers of rewards. 33%, the Vineyard Voroplasm Pellet, aka Drunk Slime. 66%, Luminescing Valara Stone Memento. 100%, Rosette Burka Mount Tree Sab Legion Arm Pack, and Nesting Reward Boxes. When the event ends on October 8th, or as soon as the meter reaches 100%, the community can claim all unlocked rewards free from the in-game crown store for a limited time. Note that these rewards can be unlocked and claimed only by Gold Road chapter players. So if you've yet to own ESO's latest adventure, be sure to pick it up. Be sure to visit the official Fallen Leaves of Westfield page often to check the community's progress and see what rewards have been unlocked. Bonus Explorers Celebration. In addition to the event's main meter and rewards, you and your fellow players can also unlock additional days of subsequent Explorer Celebration event by completing any quests within the Westfield zone. For every 33% of the bonus meter completed, also found on the official event page, will enable 3 days of the Explorer Celebration. This bonus mini-event kicks off as soon as the Fallen Leaves of Westfield event ends on October 8th and grants additional XP, gold, and resource harvesting for everybody in Tamriel during the event period. Earn coffers while adventuring. While the event and the community chase is ongoing, you can receive a special Sublime Fallen Leaves coffer for the first Westfield Zone daily quest you complete each day, and then earn regular Fallen Leaves coffers for various activities after. Note that you can only also acquire regular Fallen Leaves coffers by defeating bosses and monsters, harvesting resource nodes, pickpocketing, or opening treasure chest, safe boxes, sigil portals, safe tropes, or other lootable objects within Westfield. Basically everything. Fallen Leaves coffers can contain the following items: a chance for random crafting materials, a chance for a Gold Road sealable treasure, a chance for a style item from Gold Road motifs, Lucent Guardian, Westfield Legion, or Shard Knight, a chance for a Gold Road Overland set item, a chance for companion gear with any companion unlocked, a chance for one of the following: Gold Road Furnishings, Gold Road Furnishing Recipe, Gold Road Treasure Map or Survey Report, Gold Road Motif Page, Lucent Guardian, Westfield Legion, or Shard Knight. A small chance for a tradable style page of the new Tree Sap Legion armor style. Note that once daily Sublime Fallen Leaf coffer has a higher chance of containing the above rewards than the regular one, but there's no limit to the number of regular coffers you can earn in a single day. Additional rewards. As you collect coffers during the event, you can also enjoy the following bonuses within Westfield. Zone Daily Quest and Trial Weekly Quest, Lucent Citadel, award double non-reward boxes. Harvest node yields within the Gold Road are increased, not including fishing holes. Please include fishing holes. Gold Road world bosses, public dungeon bosses, trial bosses, and delve bosses all reward double loot. Impresario and event tickets. During the Fallen Leaves of Westfield event, you can earn 2 event tickets per day by completing Gardener's Quest, any Zone Daily Quest, or the Lucent Citadel Weekly Quest. In addition, the Impresario will stock the following items. All 3 Molag Bal Illusion Impet fragments, all 3 Anchorborn Well Mount fragments, found style pages for Sab Legion style, group repair kits, companion guild commendations. This is your chance to complete the fearsome Archborn Wellbow mount. At the same time, the Impresario's assistant will stock the following goods. All 3 Unstable Monolith Pet fragments, all 3 Deadlands Firewalker Personality fragments, all 3 Soulfire Dragon Illusion Pet fragments, all 3 Arielix Quasiglyph Mount fragments, and finally, the Incessant Indrake Feathers, Onyx Indrake Berries, Mimosite Indrake Berries, and Ebon Glow Indrake Pet, and the Sapling Indrake Pet. Phew. The few is actually there. That is in the article. That wasn't just me being silly. That is there. Alright, return to the Gold Road. Scour the Westfield region for the remnants of the Heartland Elves, and you can help your fellow players unlock rewards for the Gold Road chapter owners. Are you excited to return to this Autumnal Imperial region? Let us know. And once again, those dates are from September 26th to October 8th. That I'm excited for because furnishings. That's what I want. I want all the furnishings. That's all.
You want a furniture rate?
I mean, okay, so I finally found Vashavar today. I was just kind of walking around doing antiquities, and can we please get a player home in Vashavar? I will never leave that zone, ever. I haven't done any of the quests there yet or anything, but I was wandering through it, and yeah, I am never leaving that city if we get a player house there.
Well, I'm sure we will at some point. Oh yeah, the half-grown Crazy's with us in chat. She said she wants a half-grown house.
It's just outside seating. Can we just get another half-grown house? Like, have it be a furnishing item, like the. Did someone throw mud balls at us?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, someone came in, threw mud balls, and left. I didn't get a chance to see who that was.
We won't call them out, but I told them who was departing. We won't call them. That was hilarious. Anyway.
So, did you catch the thing that's different with this one versus the previous like community events they've done?
No.
So this is the first time, I think at least, that you've had to own the chapter. In the past, when we've done
no, you've always needed to own the chapter for the end of the year event, because they started them with the Blackwood, and it was for the people who got that chapter, because then you get all of the things in the items. But in order to participate, they're stressing this time you have to own the chapter, but you've always had to own the chapter since they started doing these. It's just they're stressing it this time because there's probably been miscommunication.
Well, you know what? You say now that you say that, yeah, because when we got the first one was the Alinor house, right? Was that the first community event that they did?
Oh, I don't remember. I just remember
the Sijic Villa.
Maybe. Like, I didn't really pay attention till the Blackwood ones because that's when I started using social media. But I know you had to have the chapter, because in order to do the things to earn the prizes, you had to participate in the things that are in the chapter. So you can't get prizes unless you're in the chapter.
So the the Sijic Villa, all we had to do for that was just run around and see all of the what do they call them, notable points, or points of interest, or whatever, the eyeballs on the map. You just had to run around and see all of those. But you did. I mean, in order to do that, you obviously had to have the chapter. So my mistake. I thought I remembered reading somewhere this was the first time, and I didn't really think that through. I did feel like there had been some things that everybody in the community got if the goal was reached, like mounts and stuff like that. I thought that was rewarded to everybody regardless of owning the chapter. You have to have the chapter to participate, but I was thinking that rewards had been given to all players, participation or not. And then, if it was specific to a zone, then you obviously have to have it.
I'm judged. Let's see here.
What's that?
I think I'm being judged.
Being judged? You mean about the audio?
All right. How do I sound now?
No, you sound clearer to me.
There we go.
Yeah, I turned you up. I mean, even on my end, like audio on YouTube is going to be different just because it's my settings versus yours. But I
switched back to my regular mic. I just had kind of a different one on for a minute for a bit there because there was a lot to get set up tonight.
Yeah, I turned you up a little bit while you were reading.
All right.
So, I'm sorry.
So now we should be good. Just in time.
Yeah, you sound a lot better now.
Finished everything. Yep, of course.
So, just play it through your headphones and turn it up really, really loud. But just be ready to turn it down when I talk, apparently. Because, no, you're good, Crazy.
No. This is how we learn things, and now we know for next time.
Yeah, this is how professional we are in doing sound checks and stuff beforehand. So, that does it for news for now. There's not a whole lot of other things that I've seen come out, other than, I think, like I said, just some videos regarding changes in the patch notes. But that's a bigger discussion. So we had a couple of things we were gonna talk about. Let's get a small one out of the way.
Where didn't the Dwemer go, Never?
Yeah. So, I was thinking that it's possible that I had overlooked them in Fungal Grotto, so I keep going back and looking, and I've spent a lot of time in the water, like swimming around, seeing if maybe any of them were hiding like underneath the water, or places like that off the beaten path. They weren't there, and I've ran around in Fargrave and the Deadlands a little bit. And what's the city? Is it just Fargrave City? That's not right. What's the name of the city? It's not just Fargrave City, right?
I don't go to Fargrave often enough. I should though. I love Fargrave. It's gorgeous.
It is pretty.
It is Fargrave City. It is actually called Fargrave City.
Okay.
Well, no, there's Fargrave. There's the Fargrave Outskirts Way Shrine and Fargrave City Way Shrine. So yes, it's Fargrave.
Okay. Anyway, Fargrave and the Deadlands in the city, and then just in some of the outlying areas. When I've been doing some of those daily quests, I haven't seen any Dwemer, any signs of the Dwemer. So more research to be done there, but as it currently stands, there aren't any Dwemer in Fargrave. So
okay,
there you go. Have you seen any anywhere?
Have I seen any Dwemer? No.
Did you happen to
actually seen a single Dwemer?
That
Not
wasn't
even one during in Vashabar with all of like those Iliad ruins and pop-up trees. There wasn't a single Dwemer there.
There wasn't any Dwemer in that house that you visited. Like that wasn't a Dwemer skeleton.
If it was a Dwemer skeleton, I couldn't tell. It was definitely humanoid,
Okay. All right. Well,
but there weren't any Dwemer artifacts.
so not enough information then. Could have been a Dwemer skeleton, and we just don't
I do
know it.
not have enough information to report whether it was Dwemer or not.
Okay. All right. Well, perhaps get with your buddy that has the house, and see if they have any information on that, and you can get back to us. All right. So, because this is episode 101, and crazy, if you have anything you would like to add, you can put it in chat, and we can read that for you for anybody that's not in the chat. But because this is episode 101, we thought we would give maybe some of our insight into things in the game.
ESO class is in session. It's 101. Right. We got to give some sort of 101. That's just how that works.
Exactly. So you've probably put more thought into it than I have. So what do you got?
So I figured you'd probably talk about like builds and stuff, and I'd probably talk about like housing.
Okay. Do you want to go first? You want me to go first?
Oh, you totally go first.
Okay. So I do like doing things with builds, but not in the come check me out in a video or website, because my builds are so great you're going to crush everything in the game solo kind of way, but more in a this is kind of a fun thing to try out to see how far you can push it, or a very specific purpose. And again, not like I'm tanking a specific trial boss, so I need this specific setup for that trial boss, because ad pools don't matter. You just need to worry about whatever with the boss, and not that kind of thing, but more like roaming about in the world. What is, a specific kind of goal you may have, and that can be anything from how to level up faster to how to throw the most fireballs at something. Just because you think fireballs are fun. I think fireballs are fun, so I, may come up with a build that just hurls fireballs every second, and without me having to actually use a fireball skill. But anyway, because we were discussing the Mora's Whisper Mythic earlier, I thought, that might tie into a good 101. So I'm going to give you a little, let me get out of screenshot mode here so I can actually go into my menu and look at my gear and just give you a little bit of an idea of what we've got going on. So I have a build that I use just for my everyday kind of overland questing, running around, just whatever, doing random daily normal dungeons, things like that I shouldn't actually need to be too worried about what my gear has as far as stats or anything like that. So I just want to get as much XP as possible. So I don't go as far as to gold all of this stuff out. Again, these are, you could do that if you have lots of gold materials. You get better stats from doing that, and like your traits and things will be stronger. But I think I don't think it's worth the trade-off for using up a bunch of gold mats for builds like this, and you want to save those for the ones that you get from people that know more about builds than me. But if you would like to have a good way to level up a character, or maybe an alt, or you're just trying to farm CP, and you want to, have that happen passively without, necessarily trying too much. I mean, some might argue that having a high DPS build and going into, public dungeons or wherever, like the farming spots, is better than this, because you're going to be killing things faster and getting XP faster. All of that may be true, but I'm not that good, and I don't. So I just want more XP passively from whatever I happen to be doing. So there's a set that you can craft. I don't have it pulled up at the moment. I think it might be like a 6 trait set. It might be more. But it's called the Heartland Conqueror set. And the 5-piece bonus on that increases the effectiveness of your weapon traits by 100%. Does not affect ornate or intricate, which those are irrelevant for gameplay anyway. So you put training on those, and normally if you have purple gear, you have I think an 8% on a two-handed weapon. You get an 8% buff to your experience gained from kills, but with this set, that becomes 16%. So I'm getting that extra XP from that. Plus, I'm getting all of my gold, or not gold, I'm sorry, all my purple pieces that on my body also are giving me 10%. So you're getting a big bump in the XP there. And also XP potions. So all of that together while you're running around, this may not be anything that somebody's going to be like, oh, that's so cool. But it's one of those things that maybe if you're a newer player or you just haven't even seen that set. And then I have that paired with currently the Adept Rider set, which is also crafted. That set gives you major gallop and major expedition at all times, which increases your movement and mounted speed by 30%. So I don't even get on my mount. I think I run faster not on my mount than I do mounted. So most of the time I just run around on foot. So while you're out and about, you get to farming nodes and things for resources. You're getting around a lot faster. So just kind of a fun way to move around. It's not blow away in terms of any DPS or anything like that, but if you're just out in the world, you don't need all of that anyway. So I think it's fun just to find little niche things to try to do with builds. Again, not if you're trying to compete at the highest level for, leaderboards or any of that kind of stuff. But, if you just have an idea for something, it's just, instead of always going and looking for somebody else's build for every little thing you might want to do, just have something in mind and look up what sets there are that maybe work with that. Again, like I said, say you just like being a fire-breathing dragon knight. There's a set you can craft that's only requires 2 traits, and every so often when you hit things with melee, you just breathe fire. It's kind of not a great set, but it looks fun. So maybe you just want to go breathe fire on things. Throw that set on, run around with a sword, set things on fire. So just mainly I just share that just to encourage some creativity, and not being stuck and always thinking that you need to be running around in the best possible gear. If that's the way you like to play, then that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't feel pressured and, to think that if you're playing solo or even doing some group content at lower levels, you don't have to be decked out in gold, best in slot gear to go do a random daily normal dungeon. Just have some fun, be creative, and just see what you can kind of come up with. And maybe one day you'll have your own podcast and you can tell other people, and I'll find out what you're doing that sounds cool. So I think that's it for me. Also being a vampire on this build, adds that sneaky build if you want to sneak around and not lose your movement speed bonus, things like that. So
well, you definitely put more thought into it than I did, because by the end of that, I did not feel like I was listening to a 101. I felt like I was listening to a college course on builds. But yeah, alright. So my 101s are not going to be that. 101. Get a Snugpod. It's only 60,000 gold. Seriously, get a Snugpod. Got the Undaunted right there. You got a Way Shrine right there. You got Guild Traders right there. You got a Horse Person right out your front door. You got Writ Turn-ins right there. Get a Snugpod. It's only 60,000 gold. 60,000 gold, you're new. That sounds like a lot. It's not. Here's what you do. You invest
you get your Snugpod so you have your home base. That's a quick teleport. And then you invest immediately into your horse. And, oh, are you serious? Okay, babble never.
Did you just tell me to babble? Yeah, I think you said guild traders are right there. The Snugpod is definitely train aggro. I heard the train. Yeah, Snugpod's definitely a great house, and if you have crowns and want to buy it with crowns, I think it's only like 4,000 crowns or something like that. It's a fairly inexpensive house, but I would encourage you just to save up the gold. It's 2,000. Okay. Yeah, it's a cheap house. It's bigger than the inn houses that you can, or the inn rooms, not houses. So you definitely.
It is bigger. All right,
yeah.
I'm back.
Okay.
It is bigger. It's bigger. It holds a lot. It's right there. Great location. So you want a Snugpod.
Beautiful
Next,
tree.
the important thing. We're biased towards it, but it really is. Praise Zen. It is a convenient house. It's great. Don't care what alliance you're on. Snugpods are great. Second, you want to invest in your horse, and you want to invest in your bank space, especially if you don't want to use ESO Plus, or if you're not sure about it, or if you want to like try to do as much free play as possible. Invest in your bank space. You max out your bank space, you put all of your regular ingredients in there, you learn all of the things, and then you break down the other things and sell the other stuff. Well, yeah, that made sense. Then that gets you to learn all the traits, gives you space in a good alchemy and enchanting inventory, and then you then you are able to craft, you are able to have things, and you have gold. And that's really all you need. And don't be afraid to break down stuff. Don't be afraid to break down things. That is a very important 101 addition. Don't be afraid to break down things. You might not think you have the resources now to rebuild it, but once you know more about the game, you'll know what you actually need to rebuild, and stuff changes all the time. Don't worry about it. I think that covers the absolute basics.
Yeah. Crazy said, do your writs.
Oh yeah, do your writs. Always do your writs.
Yep.
Writs are important.
And yeah, having that access right there to the master writ turn in is super handy too. So no matter where you go, as far as like to do your master writs, do the master writ turn ins, are they alliance specific?
No.
I feel like they were at one time. Like you had to go to the one that was in your alliance zone. Did they change that?
A master at Turnus is a master at Turnin, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, at one point, in order to like, because you were supposed to be supporting your faction with those, I think you had to actually go to the one that was in the zone for your faction. But perhaps
Can I throw out a huge total tangent for a second there?
Sure.
All right. So you know the Hrothgar DLC? I have been thinking way too much about Stuga lately, by the way. So the Hrothgar DLC, the whole point of that is it's like you're helping Hrothgar, but you go with the like intention of recruiting them to join the Covenant. That should only be available to people who choose the Daggerfall Covenant. Why can everyone do that DLC?
Really? Maybe I missed that. I played. Was that part of the main storyline?
Yeah.
I guess I completely overlooked that.
Well, like Hrothgar's its own DLC, but
right.
But the whole point is you're trying to convince them to join the Covenant. And you have to help them with their things before they join the Covenant. Because then even later on High Isle, when you're talking to Emmerich, he's like, "Yeah, we're starting to do the talks, and they're talking about doing these things and blah 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 blah." If you've completed Hrothgar after the whole Kirog and yeah, but it feels weird that it is a Dominion player. We're going to help these people to get them over there.
So,
yeah. Random tangent.
I was going to touch on something that Moki said in chat. Join a guild. Since we're doing, I guess that's a pretty 101 kind of thing to get into, right?
It is. And if you do join a guild, you could join, maybe us.
Yeah, we'll hit on that here in a little bit on how you can join the Lore Seeker Guild if you're interested. But just some of the benefits of joining a guild. Gwen was talking about saving up did you say 60,000 for a Snugpod?
Pretty much.
So there's a lot of different kinds of guilds out there. There's basically, if you can think of a guild for a specific type of gameplay, it exists. If you're a hardcore PvP, there's guilds for that. If you don't want to do anything but run trials from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, there's guilds for that. If you don't care about any of that kind of stuff and you just want to have a pretty house, there's guilds for that. But one of the things that is super helpful to try to have at least one of is a trade guild. There's a lot of trade guilds out there. They have different ways of doing it, and some people may be a little put off when they see people charging for guild memberships, like charging in-game gold, not real money. But you have to understand the reasoning for that. A lot of the trading guilds, there are free ones you can join, and I'm in a couple, and they do really good because they have very active people that really kind of keep that stuff going. You can go back to an earlier episode. We had Dragon on from the PTK's guild. But if you do see one that says they charge like 5,000 a week or something like that, the reason that they do that is because guild traders need to have, or those guilds want to try to get guild traders in good locations, and that gets very expensive. So that money goes towards securing good trading locations so that you have more traffic to sell things, which is why I say it's a good idea to try to get in a trade guild, be it a free one or whatever, because if you want to make money, sell stuff. You can sell just everything, and I don't mean that like everything in the game you can sell, but I mean you can sell armor pieces, weapons, furnishing items, furnishing plans. You can sell raw materials. So even if you're a free player and you think, oh, I've got 4,000 different kinds of alchemy materials to pick up, and I don't care about engaging with alchemy, I just want to go buy a Snugpod. Well, if you collect enough of those materials, you can just go sell them and put them, and people will pay decent money to get materials, because that's, you spent that time running around the world and picking that stuff up, and being able to just walk up to a trader and buy it saves them that time. So, join a guild. I mean, it's very beneficial in a lot of ways. You make good friends. All of us in the Snugpod Cast met through being part of the Lore Seekers Guild. So you may find some lifelong friends and podcast buddies, and you might go meet at events like Crazy and Gwen have, or you might end up in somebody's living room, in the middle of the night. All kinds of stuff that comes from just being part of that.
I'm not that crazy.
You're not that crazy?
I'm not that crazy. Someone else is that crazy.
Yeah, someone else is that crazy. We call her crazy. But yeah, that's a good one. So thank you for that, Moki. Mount training. You mentioned that there's a horse right out. Not a horse. Well, there is a horse, but of course, a horse trainer right outside the Snugpod. So you literally walk out the door, and there's a person to go train your horse right there. Did you mention that the Snugpod is right outside of a thieves guild?
It is, which is great.
Yep.
There is a guard that walks by every once in a while, but he's pretty easy to sneak around.
Yep. And once you get to the door, I mean, as long as you can get to the door, you can get in. So, that's really is one of the best houses. So I'm going to echo again. that thought that the Snugpod's a great home to pick up. Very inexpensive, decent amount of room, really. I mean, you look around, if you ever watch any of our streams and just look at what Gwen's done with ours, it's just, she's decorated so many different ways over the past couple of years for the show. That's
I have
weird.
seen people make these 3 stories, and honestly, I'm curious. I want to see if I can make like a wood elf, kosher, 3-story Snugpod that we can still use as a studio where it doesn't clip out. Because I know sometimes when I was trying to add those extra stories, when we were going into to film, I stopped adding them because they would just kind of clip out based on how we would have the camera, and it made it hard to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I want to try one again now that we have more housing items, because it's been a few years now and we have a lot more housing items than we used to.
Yeah, there's so much.
But anyway, we can sing the praises of the Snugpod pretty much just as much as any tree singer for like ever. So we can move on to the next stuff.
Well, what else you got?
Well, no more murder hobos.
Well, all right. Tell us about
All right.
the No More Murder Hobos.
All right, so questions. I have questions. And these are going to be really hard questions because I don't think you remember the first time you did Fungal Grotto.
Mm-mm.
No, no one does. Do you even remember the story of Fungal Grotto?
Honestly, no. Isn't Fungal Grotto 1 the one when you get to the end of it and there's like an elf that's kind of a jerk and it's like, oh, congratulations, you made it or something? Like, am I thinking of the wrong one? I don't remember. Maybe that's not it. I know there's goblins and you like it. There's some goblins fighting and you end up helping some of the goblins while killing others.
There's goblins. We all remember there's goblins because of the...
Yeah. I'm gonna learn to speak their language.
Anyway, no more murder hobos for the evening is, think of the first time you went into Fungal Grotto, if you remember that, or just look back on, whoa. I've run Fungal Grotto so many times that I forget what I'm actually doing in here. I truly am a murder hobo. And then think of your first time going into City of Ash. City of Ash 1 or 2, I guess. Right? Either way, it doesn't really matter. But City of Ash is ginormous. Mostly City of Ash 1. It's ginormous. You can mount in that dungeon. You can run around on a horse, a wolf, whatever, in that dungeon.
I forget that.
Yeah, think of it. It's a huge dungeon. Think of how, or like Falkreath Hold, think of the impressions of these large, basically their own zone dungeons that you went into, and how your character would react to this city is on literal fire right now. And then the last question is, does your OC side with the Mages Guild or with Celine? That's a really hard question, and I will judge you based on your answer.
Well, the dungeon kind of makes you side with the Mages Guild, does it not?
Well, yes, but that's the fun part of No More Murder Hobos, is
right.
You can go away from the narrative. You can actually choose what means something to you.
Yeah, so, I don't remember all of what Celine's motivations were, but I know the guy that was kind of over that whole what's the word I'm looking for, the guy that goes in, that's leading the expedition, I guess, so to speak. He's a real jerk, and I just wanted to like punch him over and over again. Yeah.
So my bit on Celine is, I remember it was one of the ESO news articles, one of the few I actually read. It must have popped up in Google News or something. But I read it back in the day when the Celine's Web was coming out. And I was like, oh my gosh, Mages Guild, they're actually not really good guys all the time, are they? So I definitely sided with Celine. So actually playing through that dungeon finally for the first time once I got a group was like a horror show. Like, what? We're doing what? I have to do what? I don't know. But what? She's in the right. So it's all on your perspective, I guess, on what you decide to go with. But that was quite the story. So those are no more murder hobos for the evening. Do you even remember your first time in Fungal Grotto? What do you think of the larger dungeon? What are your characters' impressions of the larger dungeons, like going into City of Ash or Felcreath Hold, where the city is literally on fire and you're asked to help? And does your OC side with the Mages Guild or Celine? Reminder, I will judge you, but those are no more murder hobos.
So send in your answers specifically to that last question, and to our email or through Twitter or whatever, and then listen back for future episodes where Gwen judges you. Could be a continuation. That could be fun. Do you want to read any of the UESP listing on that? Crazy posted that link in the chat.
We don't need to, but we can add it to the show notes if people need a refresher.
Okay. Yeah, so let's see. How long have you been streaming? Tonight specifically, not in general.
We are currently at exactly 1 hour and 52 seconds.
Okay. And so
you take off 10. So take off maybe like 5-10 minutes of that for pre-show, and that will be where we're at. So
the reason that I ask is, did you say that stream has to be on for an hour before the drops are valid?
Yes. Okay. So yeah, no. At this point, you should be able to collect your drop if you've been watching us for a full hour.
Yeah. So, yeah. So if you've been with us, then hopefully, because drops weren't enabled, then you should be able to get that. You don't have to watch for an hour, right?
Isn't it like you have to actually watch?
Really?
We do. Yes.
Is it an hour straight or just an hour collectively, like across multiple streams?
It depends on the promotion at the time.
Okay. Because an hour to watch a stream seems like a pretty big requirement for a lot of people, especially for us because we start so late. Poor Lotus.
Crazy says collective usually for ESO.
Okay. All right. Well, then maybe at the very least we contributed. Anyway, I don't want to rant too much on that. I was just going to throw that out there for anybody that was here, that if you were, then maybe you get a drop from it. So, yeah. So this has been our 101 episode, and we, hopefully you enjoyed the 101 topics and learned a little something. And
okay.
So nice. So I think that pretty well wraps us up, except for our announcements.
Announcements. All
so,
right.
You want to tell people what this person that's in chat that got a drop does on Mondays?
Well, they are dropping lines with fishing on Mondays with Moki, or Cyrodiil, or whatever crazy shenanigans we get into.
Yep.
And then we also have Treacherous Tuesdays, which is dungeons. This isn't any set lists. It's just kind of a day that we set aside to put for people to think, hey, is there a dungeon you really want to do that you need to get done? An achievement. Other people have like-minded things. Try to get together, get it done. And then Fearless Friday with a 3rd Dragoon, because we are, of course, undaunted.
Undaunted.
We are undaunted.
We are undaunted. I'm waiting. It's going to pop in there at any moment.
Jinx even popped in.
There
she came up and meowed in the middle. It was great. I don't know if the mic picked it up, but she popped up and meowed at us.
Got undaunted kitty cats.
Yep. She is one undaunted kitty cat.
That's great. Yeah, so those are PlayStation specific guild events that we do for the lore seekers. So if you want to be part of any of those, you first need to be a lore seeker. which you can do by just going to loreseekers.club and just got all the links you need. You'll need Discord downloaded, and so just kind of follow that. You'll go to apply to guild and get an application and fill that out, send it in, and we'll get that reviewed and approved and get you in the game, usually within 24 to 48 hours. So I know that may seem like more than what some people want to do for joining a guild, but it's just primarily serves as kind of a little bit of a buffer against less desirables, and also just a kind of a compatibility sort of thing. What are you looking for in a guild, and whether or not that's kind of lines up with what we do, because you only have 5 guild slots. Don't waste it on us if it's not a good guild for you, and we only have 500, and we don't want any undesirables. So but that's not usually too much of an issue. Most people that want in, it's not a problem. So come hang out with us, do some events. We are also on Xbox and PC. They've all got their own stuff going on. And if you get into the Discord, you find out about cool things like lore taverns and all kinds of stuff that we have. We have several people that are
dragon slaying.
Yeah. But we have several people that do their own kind of content stuff that, if you want lore, there's some good lore stuff there. If you want, if you're looking for any other kind of content to consume, it is available. And there's stuff you get to be part of as well. So join the guild, come hang out with us. And if you want to communicate with us in the Snugpod, there's a couple different ways that you can do that. And so you can reach us through Twitter. Where's that at?
At Snugpod Cast, or you can direct message us on YouTube or twitch.tv at Snugpod Cast. Those are both technically things you can do. However, we are most likely to see somehow through the use of magic, because none of us are old enough to do this. Check the email at snugpodcast@gmail.com.
Yep. So send in your answers to the murder hobos. Send in your own questions if you've got something that you'd like us to answer. If you have
and if you have sent in things and we haven't answered it yet, we totally were planning on it tonight. However, we would prefer for all 3 of us to be here, so that's going to be a different week. Thank you for your patience.
Yep. Yeah, we actually had it in our notes to check emails, but so we will get to that. And for those that have emailed already, we do appreciate it. Thanks for doing that. Yeah, so I mean that's pretty much it. If you are with us live, then you already know where to find us. But if you aren't with us live, you can find us at on Twitch and YouTube, both just at Snugpodcast, twitch.tv/Snugpodcast, YouTube at Snugpodcast. Pretty much Snugpodcast everywhere, because we are the Snugpodcast.
Because we podcast in a Snugpod, which is the superior housing choice.
Yes. And speaking of podcast, if you're with us live, or watching this back later, and you think, it probably would be better just to listen to this. I can have it in my ear while I'm, mowing the yard or washing dishes or whatever it is that you do with a, audio in your ear. Then you can get us on podcast apps. So just search at Snug Podcast and you'll find us. I think that's a wrap. I think we're pretty well done. I think we hit that hour limit, so we're eligible to give you your drop. Smokey got a drop, and not that was our intention necessarily, but I thought, hey, if we can help people out, let's go for it.
It is nice to help people with drops.
So I guess until next week, take care of yourself, take care of others, be a decent person. And hopefully all 3 of us will be back next week, and we'll see you then.
Bye.
Sleep well. Tamriel.
How do I end a broadcast?
Oh yeah, I'm leaving that in.